Those brownies out there.
Yeah. It's 7 o'clock. This is a special meeting of the Breezy Point City Council to discuss the assessment for Snowman Circle and Thrain Drive improvements. I will open the public hearing at this time and turn it over to Tim, city engineer, Tim Howell for the city engineer, and present the synopsis of what is going to be done.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. I'll stand over on the side here. Have provided a handout. I think it was in the council packet and then it was on the table there. So I am going to go through that handout and then as the agenda indicates, turn it back to the mayor and we'll have public comments. The first page of the handout talks about the order of topics that I'll go through. The second page, at least on my copy, it's double-sided. The second page is very similar to the process that we showed at the preliminary special assessment hearing. This is the final special assessment hearing, and it lists the steps involved in a assessment project. There's 9 steps the way we've phrased it. The step that we're at tonight is we have publicly bid the improvements, and so we're at the final assessment hearing. I'm going to probably summarize the handout and not read everything because I think my experience has been the public comments is what people want to get to. So when we get done with this, if you do have questions about anything in the handout, don't hesitate to ask during the public comment section. Page 3, just give a history. Quite a process involved in a special assessment project. In my opinion, plenty of opportunity for input at city council meetings and some other meetings that the city has had. Page 4 is just a couple maps showing Snowman Circle off of Four Seasons Place and showing Thrain Drive off of County Road 4. Blew right by that, but that is the 2 project areas that are involved tonight. Page 5 of 11, the proposed improvements. We're proposing to remove some trees, grub some stumps, clear some brush, any bushes that might be in the public right-of-way or in a small drainage easement. In the big picture scheme of things, this is not going to be a huge amount of work. In fact, our intent is to minimize that kind of disturbance, which we will in most areas, except, as I said, at a little drainage easement. Snowman Circle itself, we're looking at a 20-foot wide paved surface with Class 1 aggregate shoulders. Class 1 is a certain type of aggregate gradation. Aggregate shoulders. We're going to have selective roadway ditch clearing and grading, and actually we've really backed off that from the original concept that was laid out at the preliminary stage. There could potentially be some argument from folks, but a compacted gravel surface will shed water pretty much like a bituminous paved surface. So in actuality, we're going to really limit the ditch clearing, ditch grading, let the vegetation, as much of it as we can possibly keep, let the vegetation stay there and soak the water in just like it is today. So I'm kind of saying it to the council probably more so than anybody else, but don't be surprised after a big rainstorm, oh my gosh, we have all this pavement, we got all kinds of water problems. You would have had those kind of water problems with gravel surface too, especially long-term compacted gravel surface. The water will just run off. So we're really counting on the vegetation, try and maintain as much of that as possible and let those little roots and everything soak the water in. 2-inch thick bituminous pavement is what we'll have out there after what's called sweetening the Class 5. We don't have to dig up the pavement subgrade, it's pretty good condition. We'll just add a little bit of Class 5 aggregate base onto the existing aggregate surfacing out there before we put down the bituminous pavement. We're going to construct the cul-de-sac to fit within the platted area. Some people right now will say, well, this is the edge of the gravel, and why did you make it so much smaller, or why did you make it so much bigger? It's going to be about the same size, actually maybe a little smaller on the pavement, but then we'll have the gravel along the edges. Thrain Drive is going to be a pavement project. 22 feet wide is what we're shooting for there. Again, we're going to have some aggregate shoulders, no significant ditch grading. Going to sweeten the Class 5 again, not try and disturb a whole lot of what's out there, and then put in 2 inches of bituminous pavement. We'll also provide for turf restoration as part of this project where the turf is disturbed. On page 6, probably what everyone really wants to know is the cost. We put down project costs, so that includes the construction, the engineering, the whole assessment process. We do have some contingencies included in this. It's a unit price project, which I can get into more detail if someone has questions, but you tend to want to have some level of contingency on these projects. The 2 streets, Snowman Circle and Thrain Drive, are listed. We had the preliminary special assessment hearing where we indicated some costs, which were what we call at the study stage. And then once we had the bids last month here, now we have a much better idea of the project costs after a bid. You can see that the Snowman Circle project was estimated in the $73,000 range, and it's just a little under or a little over, however you want to say that, a little under $55,000, a little over $54,000. Thrain Drive was estimated to cost $12,700 project cost, and with the bid now, we've calculated that out just a little under $7,500. Page 7 of 11 is how those project costs are split. The city does have a policy on special assessments and how to split roadway costs. And per that policy, 100% of the roadway project costs are assessed to the abutting benefited property owners. The next paragraph is important on Snowman Circle because there are 2 lots that abut, I just forgot the name of the other street.
Four Seasons.
Thank you. 4 Seasons, and they were previously specially assessed for 4 Seasons work. And so they have a 50% credit. So if you count up the number of lots, you actually use a 0.5, a 0.5 for those 2 lots. When you do that, the number of lots equals 7. You take the project cost divided by 7, and you get $7,784.63 per lot. That number was $10,429 at the hearing, preliminary special assessment hearing. Thrain Drive, again, you take the number of lots, which there are 2, both being owned by the city. We did not have a 50% credit. I just copied that from the previous one. And so you take the 74.21 and 80 cents divided by 2, and you get the special assessment amount for the 2 city lots. Page 8, anticipated schedule. The council's first going to take any oral or written comments tonight. If the council determines the project should proceed, they will award the project. We will then take care of some contractual construction items with the contractor, have a pre-construction meeting, and get the contractor mobilized and ordering materials and get their equipment and personnel going. Per the contract, they do have until September 3rd. We left that pretty wide open so we would get as good a bid as we could. They could work it into their schedule. We did hear word from the contractor, and this could have changed the moment he walked out the door, so take it with a grain of salt, that they might want to get the project going as quickly as possible. So we will be updating the citizens there before the contractor gets going. So that was page 8. Page 9, just a little reminder on construction issues. Temporary road closures, it's a cul-de-sac, so there's not going to be any rerouting per se for Snowman Circle, but there may be some challenging road conditions. I don't anticipate, 3-foot deep holes of mud or anything like that, but you might not be able to just drive into your driveway every day. It's not going to be a long construction process. They didn't give us a indication of how long. I'd anticipate less than 2 weeks, depending on how they move in and out with their different crews. There's going to be some dust. We'll have to look at any postal delivery issues, garbage, trash collection. If anyone has known health concerns, if anyone has lawn irrigation, it wouldn't hurt to flag the lawn irrigation just so that the contractor's aware of that. And every meeting that I have and every construction project that I have, there's always another little item to add to the list. Never can get them all. Page 10 of 11, again, is just the process that we talked about with special assessments. And number 7, we're at the final assessment hearing. Number 8 would be the next step for the council to consider after they take input at tonight here. And then number 11, as the overall agenda shows, there is time for public comments. This is a legal public hearing. Written comments are acceptable. I don't know if the council has received any. Verbal comments are definitely acceptable too. The mayor is going to recognize one person at a time, and if the council can't answer it, maybe direct it over to us. So make sure you state your name and address for the record and give your comment, and I'll turn it back over to you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Okay, any questions for city engineer? Councilman Bakken?
No, sir.
Councilman Williams?
No.
Councilman Maroney?
None.
I have no questions. So at this point, I will open it up to the public for oral comments, if anybody so desires.
Why not? I came.
As long as you're here.
Okay, Larry near 8454 Snowman Circle, and I noticed that since the city owns those 2 lots on Train, wouldn't it be a nice gesture if you combined the 2 projects and divided by 9? I mean, it's something you could think about. Other than that, I could say the price now is only a little bit more than it was in 2009. I still got my packet from 2009 when we talked about it. We didn't do the project. I think it's time to probably get it done, and I know Joe and I and the engineer have still got a little bit of to work out on that easement, but I think we're not too far off as to how we're going to get the water off of that blacktop into the lot behind me, which is mine too.
And we're working that out?
Correct.
Okay.
And just to clarify, it won't necessarily be all the water, but some of the water from the cul-de-sac. There's a couple other little drainage areas.
And I had one question, we'll talk about it later too, is I didn't really want what you call a holding pond in that area, and I don't think you're going to go that deep anyway, but we'll talk about that. So, okay, that's all I had. Thank you.
Okay. Any other comments? Okay. No other comments. I'll close the public portion. I do have one written comment that came in. It is from Mike Moen, something like that. He says, I own the property at 8455 Snowman Circle, and I have reviewed the paving information, and I do not object to the proposal. So that's one positive comment that came in via email. So at this point, I will entertain a motion for Resolution 1508 that will allow us to move forward.
I'll make the motion for 1508.
Is there a second to that motion?
Second.
Further discussion? Councilman Williams?
No.
Councilman Bakken?
No.
Councilman Maroney?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Resolution is passed. And I do believe that concludes our business for tonight. So we are adjourned.
Nice job.
How did I do, Kathy?
Good idea.